It's 9:30. I woke up around 7 or so. I just crashed last night, I guess. I guess I spent, I guess I needed to catch up on a little sleep. The other side of the insomnia is that, hey, everybody has sleep sometimes. So I didn't get any lessoning done last night. I didn't even eat yesterday. Yesterday was like, I guess I fell asleep sometime around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I just, slept all afternoon, woke up for a couple hours at night, but then slept. So, I just got, a good, 15 hours worth of sleep or something. So, I didn't sleep for, 4 days, right? So, anyways, let's, I gotta eat. I think I can probably hold off on the grocery and pill shopping until tomorrow. I've got a few left. It's gonna take, I gotta be, well, it'll be tomorrow. Or, yeah. I'll be good if I go tomorrow. It'll be the next day that I start getting funny. So, I think, I'm just a little bit, apprehensive about all this shit growing out of my face. So, I'm gonna give it another day, and hopefully, it's been really bad the last couple of days. Like I say, it's just, I don't know. I don't know how these ridiculous incongruents get in there. I don't know where they come from, but I think that my thought about the possibility that you can, I don't even know if you can pick hair up on an MRI, but it's just anyways, yeah, I'm just getting some stuff going on the vlog, and I need to eat, and then I'll do a little bit more listening, and then we'll see where I'm going from there. So this Trump taking a step back from the immigration rhetoric thing. A lot of people on the right wing seem to be upset about this and confused and shocked and what's the word I'm looking for here? Betrayed. This particular video is about the Young Turks guy. I'm kind of laughing at Ann Coulter. I said from the start myself, okay, that Trump's position didn't, what was he gonna do? Was he gonna get into a fight with the farm producers in California? Did he understand what was going to happen? And we can talk about the political usefulness of this kind of rhetoric, but everything that I saw suggested to me that Trump was actually unaware that the major benefactor of the current immigration status quo in the southern part of the United States is the corporate interests that control the American right. And if he was going to run as the Republican Party nominee, he'd have no choice but to modify his stance once he won the nomination. If he were to actually follow through on his proposals, you'd end up with hyperinflation in the price of food. You'd also end up with the collapse of the Republican Party because they would lose the major aspect of the donation base. I mean, what they get from, abortion people and everything, that kind of thing, it's small potatoes compared to the amount of money that they get from these major producers to ensure that they don't get in the way of the flow of cheap labor. So yeah, this immigration rhetoric, it's a useful tool, it's a useful control mechanism, sure, but do not be confused by it. The Republican Party will never do anything to restrict the flow of cheap labor into the United States. And Coulter knows that too. She wrote a book about it. So she's just a troll. Okay? I don't want to really pretend that I know what goes on inside that brain of hers. But I suspect that she's actually probably fairly liberal. And that what you're getting is just a big joke. I think Ann Coulter and Donald Trump, the big thing that they have in common is that they're both, um, it's performance art. Again, I'm not the first person that's pointed this out about Ann Coulter. Okay, you go back, you'll find lots of people pointing this out. That she doesn't. It's not even that she doesn't believe what she says. It's that she doesn't even expect you to believe that she believes what she says. She says outrageous things to kind of well, she's it's a parody of what she is, right? She's not what she claims to be. She's an actress who is, taking the piss out of the right. Her vocabulary and her political opinions are in direct contradiction to each other. Not to say that I think she's really smart. I don't think she is, or at least I don't think her character is. But she can't be as dumb as she lets on. Well, it's clear she's not as dumb as she lets on. It's an act, okay. And when I said that when I said that she knows this, she wrote a book about how the reason that the immigration system exists the way it does today is because of the major donors and producers that are behind the Republican Party. It's not just that she knows that because she could not know that. She knows that because she wrote a book about it. And then she comes out and she pretends that, it's all a ploy. Okay, forget about Ann Coulter. She's a joke. But what Trump is doing, I think Trump. I see no evidence that Trump really understood what he was saying. I see no evidence that he really had a strong grasp of the ramifications of his policies, who he'd be fighting against. I don't think that Trump actually read any of Ann Coulter's work. I think that he probably saw some interviews by her on TV, which is the same thing for me. I'm not going to sit down and read a book by Ann Coulter. Everything that I know about Ann Coulter I saw in an interview and on YouTube, or she's been around long enough that I saw her on TV a few times. I don't know how anybody could have thought for a second, for a minute, that the Republican Party would ever do anything to upset the status quo. If the Republican Party is ever going to do anything, it's going to be to make it easier to get them through. But the amount of ignorance on this topic, we know or if you've been watching, my rants here for a little bit, I certainly know that the ignorance is it's astounding on all sides. Trying to have an informed conversation with anybody about how the migrant system, or how the migrant labor system in the southern part of the United States works is very difficult. Ironically, one of the few people that I know that does actually understand the system well is Ann Coulter. And no, she never thought that was actually going to happen. There's no way. Eggs are almost done frying, and I'm just pointing out that this is my last day for my bagels benedict here that I've been having. Go tomorrow for groceries. I'm getting back into that spaghetti most of the time, and eggs. I probably work out about twice a week. It's yeah. It's the last day like this. There's some evil storming coming in. It's what, 3 o'clock? No, I haven't moved far up north. It's just really, really, really dark. The bugs are doing a code red on me here. Listen. It's the bugs. I'm going to close this here window because it's about to come down. I got your warning. I don't know, what are those crickets? Grasshoppers? I don't know what those are. But I got your warning. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I just checked the radar, and it's oh, we're gonna get soaked here. It's you can hear it coming in as well, so let's deal with that. I'll leave that one open. Well, it's only gonna be for a few hours, so I'll just close that down for now. What have I been doing? I got something to eat. Did a little editing. I'm gonna do a little bit more editing, and then I'll get to listening after. Yeah, not particularly exciting. This rain is gonna be. I mean, what? Like I say, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's insane. Been having difficulty sleeping in this space of this day. Up and down, sleep for an hour, up, can't keep my eyes open. Kind of like the insomnia, but except that it's more like I can't stay awake rather than I can't get to sleep, right? Reverse insomnia. But it's the same, it's the same. With insomnia, it's like, you sleep for 10 minutes and then like you're wide awake, you can't do anything, right? With the reverse insomnia, it's more like you're awake for 10 minutes and then you pass out for and you keep passing out, you can't stay awake. So, in this space, I woke up from a short nap, still kind of like half asleep, not really conscious or cognizant of anything, and I had a dream, and I'm reflecting thoughts about that dream here. I've been over this a few times. I really don't think that gender is genetic in the sense that there's a gene for liking skirts or a gene for liking cars. Rather, I think it's partly hormonal and partly experiential. The only serious genetic determinant going into somebody's gender identity is consequently the way that their bodies regulate hormones. That means that there actually might be an observable physical trait that I demonstrate that has something to do with things, which is the fact that I've never grown a single hair on my chest in my life. This is actually very rare. The categorization of apelose means less than 6%, right? So when you talk about, men with no hair on their chest, it's not literal, right? It means that there's just a very small area, or or it's, very, very thin, or very, very fine. I'm not exaggerating. There has never been a hair that has ever grown from my chest, ever. Of any size, of any coarseness, at all, ever, period. And I remind you that I'm nearly 36, and I take female hormones. It's not going to happen at this point, right? So how does it happen that I get to my age and I've never grown a hair on my chest ever? Like I say, it's unusual. Well, here's the truth. This is androgenic hair. This is its presence is triggered by the release of testosterone during puberty. Humans demonstrate lots of variation as a species, so some dudes release huge amounts of testosterone and end up looking like hairy man-apes, whereas others release a lot less and just end up with a little baby fuzz. How much hair a dude has on his chest is dependent upon how much testosterone is being released by that person's body. And so the really hairy dudes have lots of testosterone, and the less hairy ones have less testosterone. I have none. And so something didn't happen, right? In fact, it's even true that some women release enough testosterone to end up with a little bit of hair on their chest and faces too. Not a lot, but it's not that unusual for women to have some facial hair and some chest hair. It's just not unusual. The media doesn't want you to know that, but ask your mom. You've got a high chance. My mom is like Scandinavian, so it didn't, I don't have to ask, I know, but the fact that I've never grown any chest on my hair at all ever means that I didn't go through that testosterone flush. Okay, that's what that means. Okay, we're not talking about a little bit. Okay, we're talking about none ever, period, at any point. It's kind of like I didn't go through puberty. And I can't tell you why or why not with any real certainty, okay? But there has to be a genetic basis to it. It may be that an environmental condition triggered it. It may be that the absence of an environmental condition triggered it. I mean, I guess I could have drank lots of bisphenol, I don't remember, but it's probably not that. It's almost certainly a genetic issue. I said almost certainly. Maybe the place I was living during that crucial period had a chemical leak, and I was flush with estrogen and I didn't know it, and nobody's ever tested it and found it. We're stretching here. It's almost certainly genetic. And you can note that my dad was a typical hairy Italian Jew. Very hairy. He was a man-ape. All the guys on my dad's side are very hairy. There really aren't any guys on my mom's side. My mom has 2 sisters. But I think this is one, like, this is, if you want to look for genetics, and I've actually pointed this out a couple of times here already, it's got to have something to do with that, okay? It's overly facile, it's not that easy. It's at most one of multiple factors, but if I was a geneticist, that's where I'd be looking for, okay? The genes that regulate hormone release during puberty. It may not be enough, but I mean, I'm kind of skeptical, this idea that you can take a 4-year-old and determine their gender identity. I think that's insane, right? I don't think that we can really talk about, transsexuality in a meaningful sense unless we're talking about it, people transitioning in their teens, right? As an aside, that makes the issue reducible to a hormonal imbalance, and the treatment of hormone therapy rational. But it also means that the ultimate truth here is that I very much had a choice in correcting the imbalance. And that's what the dream is about. I could have equally well chosen to pop testosterone pills. But I didn't. Right? I made the choice that I made based on the experiences I had had. But to understand the issue as a hormonal imbalance or something misfiring, or just hormones fucking up one way, however you want to articulate that, means that there's two choices, right? And you can't avoid that. If the cause is hormonal error, then you can either reverse it or exaggerate it. And that is a real choice. And it has to be, that choice, well, I actually do have a memory of making that choice. Is that universal? A lot of people may not really contemplate that choice, right? But you can't avoid it, and the decision that you make, if you make a decision, like I say, maybe not everybody consciously has that choice, but whatever decision comes out of it has to be based on your experiences. It's a slightly different mindset, but I'm sorry, I think I have a better point of view than somebody that's never been through anything like this.